Welcome to Past Paradise. This episode explores Surya Bonaly's life, the figure skater whose backflip captivated the globe. After that, Surya became a successful coach, motivational speaker, and sports diversity advocate. Encounter Surya and other renowned figure skaters in 2024 to learn about their extraordinary adventures. Dorothy Hamill. Yes, 1976 was Dorothy Hamill's year. That was the year the former skate figure won the World Championships and the women's singles competition at the Winter Olympics in Innsbruck, Austria. Her Olympic victory was especially noteworthy since she was the last to win gold without clearing the three-jump hurdle. The Hamill Camel is a technique that Hamill invented and is well known for. It is simply a camel spin that develops into a sit spin. Dorothy Hamill now. Following her Olympics and World Championships victories, Dorothy Hamill, like many other accomplished figure skaters, went to professional appearances. In addition to appearing in the 16th season of Dancing with the Stars, Hamill gave a keynote performance on the television program Broadway on Ice, but she withdrew after only 2 episodes due to a terrible injury. Hamill has recovered since then, appearing in series like Go Figure, The Randy Gardner Story. Debbie Thomas. The fact that Debbie Thomas was the first African American to win a medal at the Winter Olympics will always be her most memorable accomplishment. She took home the bronze in the Calgary Olympics in 1988. However, many people in attendance were unsurprised by the historic event, mainly because Thomas had previously been in the top 3 in the World Championships 3 times. Eventually, in 1986, she peaked at number 1. The Battle of the Carmens, Thomas's rivalry with Katrina Witt, is another well-known aspect of her personality. Debbie Thomas now. During her Olympic career, Debbie Thomas was able to enroll in Stanford University. Nevertheless, she decided to give up figure skating at the age of 21. After earning her degree from Stanford, she proceeded to medical school and trained to become an orthopedic surgeon. For Thomas, however, things were more complex. She started her private practice and had a reputation as a problematic doctor to deal with before declaring bankruptcy. Her diagnosis of bipolar illness coincided with the expiration of her medical license. Kitty and Peter Carruthers. 1984. No American couple achieved the same success as Kitty and Peter Carruthers. When they won the silver, these 2 Massachusetts siblings easily defeated their Soviet competitors. Even with Kitty's tendinitis at the time, they escaped with a medal. Kitty and Peter were so happy with their accomplishment that they spent a solid minute cuddling up to a standing ovation. Kitty and Peter Carruthers now. Peter Carruthers is married with 2 children and has become a well-known announcer for several skating competitions. Regarding Kitty, she is employed in Houston as a coach. Even though they have separate lives, the siblings often get together on special occasions. The last time was for a 2013 TV special. In the special, they even went skating together. Kitty said, "We were foolish enough to skate and had a great time." Peter said, "We realized we still had a little something." Sasha Cohen. Sasha Cohen, a 3-time World Championship medalist, suffered her worst defeat in the 2006 Winter Olympics in Turin when she only took home silver. Cohen attempted to rejoin Team USA in 2010, but was unsuccessful and unsure of her future options. As a consequence, she gave up competitive skating. She said, "I missed that obvious sense of purpose and direction. It is difficult to find that clarity once you step away from the world of an elite athlete." Sasha Cohen now. Sasha Cohen has dabbed in acting since her figure skating days, appearing in films like Blazing Saddles and CSI New York. She is also an Academy Awards guest correspondent. Cohen graduated from Columbia University in 2016 with a degree in political science. When Cohen was admitted into the United States in 2016, she was given the recognition she deserved, the Hall of Fame for figure skating. Regretfully, Sasha and her spouse, Tom, are now going through a divorce. Brian Boitano. Brian Boitano initially gained recognition as a top figure skater in the 1980s. He won the gold in the men's singles at the Winter Olympics in Calgary after emerging as the world champion in 1986 and 1988. Despite becoming professional, Boitano returned to competitive figure skating and competed in the 1994 Winter Olympics. His battle with competitor Brian Orser was dubbed the Battle of the Brians. At that time, he only managed to finish sixth. Brian Boitano now. Alongside opponent Brian Orser, Boitano starred in the Emmy Award-winning film Carmen on Ice, one of his most prominent career ventures since becoming a pro. What Would Brian Boitano Eat? His program on the Food Network debuted recently. Then, in December 2013, Boitano came out to the world as homosexual after a period of intense public speculation about his personal life. In 1996, he was admitted to the Figure Skating Hall of Fame. Torvill and Dean. Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean, popularly known as Torvill and Dean, enjoyed one of the most distinguished careers ever. They are the most famous figure skaters in the United Kingdom. 16 of the 18 medals they earned in the competition were gold. Their victory in the 1984 Winter Olympics is regarded as one of the sport's greatest ever moments. With 12 flawless sixes, they achieved the most significant figure skating score in history. Torvill and Dean now. Even though their career ended bitterly when they took home the bronze in Lillehammer in 1994, Torvill and Dean have continued to represent the sport even after they retired. Following their tour with Stars on Ice, they performed the Bolero in Sarajevo in 2014 to commemorate 30 years after their Olympic victory. Notwithstanding their extraordinary tale, Torvill and Dean are not romantically linked. Torvill is happily married to Phil Christensen, while Dean divorced American skater Jill Trineri in 2010. Oksana Baiul. In her native Ukraine, Oksana Baiul was hailed as a national hero at 16, having won the gold medal at the 1994 Winter Olympics held in Lillehammer, Norway. Figure skating icons like Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan, and Katarina Witt competed simultaneously, making it a fantastic moment. The youthful Baiul, nevertheless, defeated them all to win the gold. In 1993, she also won the title of World Champion for women's singles. Oksana Baiul now. Regretfully, after her adolescent victories, Oksana Baiul's life wasn't all that enjoyable. The former figure skater struggled with alcohol throughout the 1990s. Baiul, nonetheless, appeared in series like Cold as Ice. She has also appeared on reality TV programs such as Master of Champions, about skating. Baiul even appeared in The Apprentice's 13th season. Her most recent project was starring in the 2018 biopic Sonja, Queen of Ice, which was suitably named after Norwegian figure skater Sonja Henie. Rudy Galindo. Rudy Galindo's best figure skating performance was unquestionably in the pairs division when he was partnered with Kristi Yamaguchi. The two took home the 1988 World Junior Championship and the 1989 and 1990 U.S. Championships at the national level. But soon after, the pair decided to go alone. At the 1996 U.S., Galindo eventually made it to the top of the men's singles division by triple jumping 8 times for gold. Titles, he's shown himself to be a natural in both doubles and singles. Rudy Galindo now. Galindo is among the few athletes on this list without any Olympic experience. He did, however, create history when he emerged as the nation's first openly homosexual and Latino champion. He gained notoriety in professional performances as well. As a coach, the former skater now trains the next wave of talented Americans at his old rink in San Jose. When Galindo came clean about having HIV in 2000, it rocked the sports world. Surya Bonaly. French figure skater Surya Bonaly's one-bladed backflip, which left the crowd in disbelief, was one of the Olympic highlights of 1998. She made the insane and illegal action after thinking the Olympic Tribunal had a racial prejudice throughout her performances. She is the only figure skater to have executed the feat during an Olympic Games. With 9 victories in the French Championship, Bonaly is unmatched. Surya Bonaly now. Surya Bonaly does a little bit more in the book these days. She must because she is now mentoring a new generation of figure skaters. She is a coach in the Minnesotan town where she resides. She is not only committed to educating the next generation, but she is also a real activist who actively supports moral concerns. In addition to being a vegetarian, Bonaly has made several appearances in PETA advertisements. Victor Petrenko. Victor Petrenko's career is particularly noteworthy since he had the opportunity to represent 2 nations. This is because he first described the Soviet Union before its dissolution. There was a time after this when he represented Ukraine, his birthplace. However, he was most successful during his tenure with the unified squad, reaching the peak of his career in 1992 when Victor Petrenko won the gold. Victor Petrenko now. Even after he retired from figure skating, Victor Petrenko continued participating. The Ukrainian is much more driven than before. He has coached several talents and even helped Oksana Baiul establish herself. Baiul would go on to win the gold 2 years after Petrenko. He has coached 3-time champion Johnny Ware and notable athletes, including Czech Mikhail Brezina and Ukrainian Natalia Popova. Nicole Bobek. Nicole Bobek, a figure skater, had a rough time preparing for her Olympic debut. 8 different coaches had unsuccessfully coached her, therefore she was considered difficult to deal with. Scott Hamilton, on the other hand, thought well of her. He said, "She lights up the building like nobody else." Together with Tara Lipinski and Michelle Kwan, Bobek formed a formidable trio that was sure to make waves in 1998. But then things went south. Nicole Bobek now. Nicole Bobek was busted for trafficking illegal drugs not long after her Olympic disappointment. It was the figure skater's lowest point ever. However, she finally got another opportunity and apologized for her troubled past. She currently performs in circuses out of great enthusiasm. Her hoop routine at a skating exhibition organized by Nancy Kerrigan in 2015 was one of her most memorable performances. She also went on to wed one of her fellow entertainers. Elvis Stojko. Elvis Stojko became the first athlete in his discipline ever to do a quadruple-triple combination. He was as well known for his figure skating skills as for having the same first name as the king of rock and roll. Stojko was a distinctive figure skater who wore robust techniques and stylish heavy metal outfits. "I was made fun of," Stojko said. "I was instructed to connect with my feminine side." "Buddy, I don't have a feminine side," I said. Elvis Stojko now. About 70 times a year, Stojko still does performances. He and his wife, a former figure skater, have performed together several times. But Stojko's career encompasses so much more than simply skating. He has dabbled in various pastimes, including kung fu and go-kart racing. He even managed to get a Broadway role in the beloved musical Chicago as Billy Flynn. Additionally, Stojko is expected to compete in the next season of Stars on Ice in Canada. Ty Babilonia and Randy Gardner. Even though younger skaters often lack the closeness needed for couples figure skating, Ty Babilonia and Randy Gardner developed a close working relationship from a young age. They created history when the two became the first American champions in over 20 years in 1979. Tragically, Gardner's horrific groin injury would shortly follow, destroying their hopes of competing in the 1980 Winter Olympics. They had a clear lead to take home the gold. Ty Babilonia and Randy Gardner now. In 1980, Ty Babilonia and Randy Gardner experienced great disappointment, but they have been close friends ever since. At the Ice Theater of New York, they just celebrated 50 years of collaboration. These days, Babilonia occasionally coaches, while Gardner stars in his show, Go Figure, the Randy Gardner story, and is a choreographer. In an interview, Babilonia said, "For me, friendship is what gets me through all of it." Philippe Candeloro. The things that Frenchman Philippe Candeloro didn't do will likely be remembered more than his actions. We are going to simplify things. During one of his performances, Candeloro made an accident that seemed a well-executed maneuver. He whirled around and dropped to his knees. It is now his go-to maneuver. However, the skater was unfazed by the accident, particularly after taking home bronze in the Winter Olympics in 1994 and 1998. Philippe Candeloro now. After his skating career ended, Philippe Candeloro focused on sports writing and news reporting. Nevertheless, the former figure skater found himself in a contentious position after calling someone on live television. Candeloro commented that Olympic champion Suzuka Arakawa was only worth a bowl of rice while watching the Japanese figure skater compete. He later apologized for the statements in the wake of the intense backlash. Brian Orser. Brian Orser, who won gold in the 1987 World Championships in Cincinnati and silver in the 1984 and 1988 Winter Olympics, will never fully recover from the moment he was overwhelmed by his biggest rival, Brian Boitano, in what many referred to as the Battle of the Bryans. However, he came short of winning the gold in the two events mentioned above, first against Scott Hamill and then against Boitano. Brian Orser now. Despite this long-standing setback, Orser's resurrected foray into teaching has helped to salve some of these scars. Before realizing he needed to mature, he had been traveling for 17 years. Orser's perseverance paid off in 2014 when he helped Japanese skater Yuzuru Hanyu win the gold medal at the Olympics. Orser came out as homosexual in 1998, and he is presently dating the Brian Orser Foundation's director, Rajesh Tiwari.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon